Are you sick of being a people pleaser in life? Is that making you angry and resentful? And you just want to say no? Hi, I'm Richie, and if you're not a people pleaser, then this video is probably not for you, so move on. So I spend a lot of my time in my therapy office, helping people with their anger. Why are they angry? Most people are angry with, this may be a surprise, themselves. Why? Because they struggle with personal boundaries in their lives and possibly low self-esteem, which leads to sacrificing their own happiness and time to serve others. I'm going to tell you a little story. Once upon a time, I was working as a group therapist in one of the most prestigious psychiatric hospitals in the world, and doing therapy groups for people struggling with various mental health challenges. In this psychiatric hospital, I loved running this group called What Do You Want? In this group, I would ask patients, what did they want? What do you want? Well, what do you mean, Richie? What do I want? Was it financial? Is it, something for my life? Is it career? No, what do you want? So this made them think, which is part of why the question is framed the way it is. So the patient started talking about things, and one person raised their hand and say, Richie, I want to be president. Okay. Another one would say, I want to be a billionaire. I was like, okay, great. The other one said, I want world peace. And then to those patients, I would say, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, how realistic are these wants? The down-to-earth patients were able to reflect and rationalize that they were probably unrealistic wants. So during this group, an older woman in her 50s stood up and said, Richie, I'm angry all the time, and I want people to leave me the F alone. This patient had fire in her eyes, so I wrote on the whiteboard, want people to leave me the F alone. Then I asked her, what do you mean by that? And she replied, I am sick of doing things for people. And I said, why? Because they all suck and nobody appreciates me. She went on to say that she cooks for everyone and is always the one making plans. And she said she's overwhelmed and frustrated. She then went on to say that she is always stressing herself around the holidays, going to parties, cooking, constantly doing things for her family and friends, attending events, more parties, and things that she could really care less about. She went on to say, I feel like I am a 911 for everyone, and at a drop of a dime, I am there, and my life starts falling apart, which makes me depressed. She then said, people have burnt me out, and I am angry. Then I asked her, who is she angry with? She thought for a couple of minutes and said, I'm angry with myself. And I asked her, well, how does that feel? She said, Richie, it feels terrible. I said, why are you angry with yourself? She said, because I give all my time away to others and it leaves nothing for me. I asked her how she feels about all those family members, friends, and coworkers that she bends backwards over to please. And she goes, Richie, I am so angry with them as well for taking advantage of me. I said, do you know what that is called? And she said, what? I said, resentment. And then I asked her what she wants to do about it. She goes, well, I want to tell everybody to F off. I said, how do you think that will go? She said, well, initially it will feel good, but eventually it will feel terrible. And I love the people I do stuff for. I asked her why she people pleases. And she thought back and she said that she's been people pleasing for her entire life. And that made her really sad. She said she struggles with low self-esteem and as a child always tried to please her parents with good grades, not getting into trouble, and always doing what was expected of her even into adulthood. She said she did things for others so they would like her, including her parents. I asked her, I said, do you ever use the word no? And she said, Richie, that word is not even in my vocabulary. And I asked her if she wanted to learn how to say it. And she said, F yes. So I said, okay. So then I went on and I went into this inner child work. I says, I let her know that she became a people pleaser because that is how she got attention and gained a sense of self-worth. Because if she wasn't people pleasing, her biggest fear in life was that nobody would see her. Because when we are people pleasing, we do it because we want to be accepted. We don't want to be judged. We want attention. We want to be loved because we don't love ourselves enough. And I call this other-based self-esteem. And there are three forms of self-esteem. There's other-based, when we look to others to make us feel worthy. There is attribute-based self-esteem. It's like, look at my nice hair. Ain't I wonderful? And like, oh, I have a nice body. And then the last one is performance-based. I have a beautiful car. I have a successful job. My child goes to Harvard. So if we don't love ourselves, we kind of tap into those three other-based esteems to make us feel worthy of ourselves. So when we look to others to feel worthy, that comes with a substantial sacrifice. Number one, when we people please, we feel taken advantage of, and that makes us really angry inside, like my patient. When we please people, we build resentment for the ones we are constantly trying to please. And we love them too, so that's really hard. And this happens in quite a few relationships when one partner is showing the other is like running the show and the other one is binge watching Netflix. And resentment in a relationship is a sleeping poison that will destroy relationships. But three, when we people please, we become angry with ourselves for always giving in and doing things that we don't want to do, and it sacrifices, part of our lives. So how to say no? Okay. First of all, we need to practice saying no. And I think people are going to say, well, but you're psychotic. We don't use those terms too often. So you got to practice saying no. It's so hard for so much of us to say no. I was a people pleaser for most of my life until I lost my son 10 years ago. And then it's like, life's too short to sacrifice everything for others. So you need to protect yourself. And saying no is a way to set a real healthy boundary to, make time for yourself, make time for, your family. Practicing no is really, really the first step. So how to say no? Okay, there's a few just simple points to saying no. First of all, I ask my clients to start practicing it in the mirror. Go into the bathroom, don't let anybody see you, and start saying no, in the nicest tone that you can ever produce. Can't be hostile, it can't be aggressive. Saying no. Don't let anybody see you doing that because they may think you're crazy. Number two, the first couple of no's will feel really uncomfortable, but the more you do it, the happier and the more confident you're going to become. Number three, a no doesn't have to come with an excuse. This is really important. A no doesn't need an explanation or an excuse. We don't have to explain ourselves to anyone, right? Well, maybe our partners. I'll get back to that in a second. I've worked with so many clients over the years that rack their brains for the best excuses to follow a no. So they're trying to set a boundary, but as a culture, we're so kind of tied to needing to have the best excuse ever. And I've known people that go into extreme lengths with excuses and even saying that their parents had sicknesses. Those aren't clients. Those are people that I've met in this world, not clients, to get out of work, to get out of doing things, which is sad. But for the most part, you don't need an excuse. You don't need to explain yourselves. It's really as simple as that. Nobody needs an explanation. However, our partners in relationships, we do have to make compromises with that. So I'm going to put a caveat in there. So if your partner asks you to, move some boxes from the kitchen to the living room, and you can't do it, it's a simple No, honey, I can't do it right now, but I will certainly do it the first thing tomorrow morning. So that's the only time in your life that you do need to provide some kind of feedback and compromise when you set a boundary of no and a promise to do it later if you can with the partner. And the last thing, the message is simple, and here it is. I am sorry. I am not able to do that. And you leave it there. No excuses, no carrying on, no feeling guilty, simple and sweet. And when you start saying no to things that you don't want to do, you will start feeling better about yourself. You will start feeling better about family and friends in your circle. They may even start respecting you more. And even better, you'll start respecting yourself more. You will have more energy. You will have more time. You will start living your life on your terms. And you will start sensing that feeling of freedom that comes with setting boundaries, healthy boundaries, and using the amazing two-letter word called no. And best of all, you will banish your identity as a people pleaser, and people may start leaving you the fuck alone. If you like this video, please like it. If you want to subscribe to my channel to get more of this content, please do. Any comments or any people pleasers in the crowd, please let me know below and I'll respond. Take care.